Welcome to Bobcat Tracks, February edition of Bobcat Tracks. As winter seasons wind down and we get going here in the spring, excited to have a couple fantastic guests on today. Carson Trafford from men's golf joins us. Ellie Greenwell from track and field joins us as well. And hope everyone is getting through this brutally cold winter. I'm coming from the state of North Carolina a few months ago. Of course, they're having a hard winter too, but I'm not used to all this snow and these frigid temperatures. So I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for some warm weather, and so is the men's golf team. We'll get right into it. Carson Trafford joins us, a senior on this men's golf team, and they got their spring season started this month. So we talked to Carson about a little bit of everything: the fall season, his off season, just his career in the world of golf, and looking forward to this spring season as well. So here's Carson Trafford on Bobcat Tracks. Appreciate for joining us, my man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
I'll start. Just how was the fall season for you? For those that don't know, you guys play 5-6 events in the fall. Obviously, take the winter off. Come back in the spring, play another 5-6 events. Just how would you summarize your fall?
Yeah, I think the fall was great. I know this is a new team for us. We lost, 5 seniors last year that were a pretty big part of our team, and we brought 3 new guys in, 2 freshmen. So I think just kind of getting them used to college golf as a whole in the beginning was kind of on us as a seniors to get them ready and prepped for the first tournament at Marshall. But I think once we got rolling, it was great. One of our freshmen, Jack Flores, he played awesome at Marshall in his first event, and we just kind of kept building off of that as the season, continued. I know Coach Brennan said that we're on track to break the school scoring record for the school, so that's pretty awesome to hear after the fall. Yeah. Looking back at it, we were kind of just staying in the moment then, but as the winter happened, taking a step back and looking at how our fall went. We all thought it was a good fall, and we're just excited to keep building and getting ready for the spring.
You mentioned Jack. You guys only have a couple freshmen this year, but what's it like for this group of seniors in your class to be able to kind of help the couple of young ones that come in?
Yeah, it's been honestly really easy. The 5 seniors last year did a great job bringing us in when we were freshmen, and they made us feel comfortable and at home, and we really instilled a lot of the same things into these 2 freshmen, Rylan and Jack. I've known Jack for probably 6 or 7 years now. I grew up with him playing golf at Worthington Hills up in Columbus, so just been really close to him, and it was awesome to have him come down here and join us at OU. And Rylan, he's a great kid, and we're just really trying to just be the best role models we can for them, whether it's golf, school, social life balance, just being there for them whenever they need it, because next year they'll be the only guys besides Sam Hall that are still on the team, and just getting them ready to be able to be leaders next year.
Yeah, so did you help recruit Jack? Were you a recruiter? Yeah.
I tried my best. We always talked about that would be awesome. We were able to play high school golf together, and that never panned out. So being able to have him down here for 1 year, it's honestly truly special.
Yeah. How long have you been playing golf?
I probably started, really playing golf when I was 12 or 13. I've had a plastic club in my hand before that, but, we moved on to a golf course, Worthington Hills in Columbus, when I was, around 11 or 12, and we backed up right to the putting green. Summer days, I didn't have much going on, so I was always like, I'm going to go try to, go putt for a couple hours and see how it is, and, I just fell in love with the game after that.
Yeah. Did anyone else in your family play?
Mm-hmm. My cousin played for Ohio State, and then my uncle is a huge golfer as well. He played for Eastern Kentucky. So, just growing up with them around, our golf course and playing with them every day just, really got me into the game. And, just great family time as well, hanging out with them on the golf course. So just kept going after that.
Yeah. Did you play any other sports?
I played lacrosse and basketball growing up. I stopped going into high school so I could focus on golf full time, but I really enjoyed playing those sports in middle school.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. What made you stick with golf compared to, like you said, lacrosse or basketball or anything else?
Right. I think, to start off, I was, more naturally gifted at golf than I was the other 2. But secondly, I remember lacrosse was in the spring, and we would have practices in the evenings. And I remember, dreading going to practice because I just wanted to go play golf. It was so nice out. It was beautiful. The sun was setting. I could just walk out my back door, go putt and chip. And, I was like, I think I'm going to stop playing lacrosse so I can actually, continue playing golf full time and, being able to put, my full effort into it.
Yeah. At what age, and I asked just because I have no idea what the youth golf world is like, but You mentioned being 11, 12 years old, just being able to go out, chip and putt. At what age do you start playing competitively? Do you start entering some tournaments? So when does that all start?
Right. I started playing tournaments when I was about 15. There was an organization around the United States called U.S. Kids Golf.
Yeah.
And they just have great tournaments to start getting these young juniors into golf. And they start earlier, age 6 or 7. I wasn't playing competitive golf then, but I just started playing competitive golf when I was 13 or 14 in those U.S. Kids events. Had my dad caddying for me, and ever since then, just kind of took off and started loving the game.
How was Dad on the bag?
It was interesting. He laughs about it. He's not on the bag anymore.
Yeah.
My uncle, who I grew up playing golf with, is now on the bag. But no, having my dad on the bag was great. Just he knows my game really well, and it's great to have that insight from him.
Did he play at all?
He does not. He plays for fun with his friends, but
Yeah.
that's the extent of it.
That's about it. That's about it. When did you know, you mentioned 15, but obviously throughout high school, when did you know you could play at the collegiate level?
I always had dreams that I wanted to play in college, but it was really until my sophomore year, I think that I was like, this is really doable. And then, going into my junior year, I had a really good summer, and that was when kind of things took off. I was able to start getting recruited after my junior year, and things just started picking up. Started posting scores, coaches started reaching out, and then I kind of sat back and was like, this might actually happen. So, that you start practicing harder, you start working harder, and eventually, it all pans out the right way.
When did that recruiting process start with Ohio?
It started, I believe, really early in the process. After my junior year, my brother went here at OU, and I remember, right when I was able to reach out to coaches, I reached out. It was right in the middle. So Coach Brennan was not the full-time head coach yet. He actually just got hired. He was the first coach I talked to at OU.
Yeah.
I remember the women's coach, Kelly, came out to watch me at Hudson one time when I was playing in the Hudson Junior. And then I just reached out to Coach Brennan and kind of just hit it off from there. I remember he came and watched me at state championship senior year, offered me after that, and I knew that it was the place I wanted to be.
What was it about either Athens or Ohio as a whole, or maybe it was, like you said, Coach Brennan? What was it about that kind of whole combination that made you want to come here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just stems from the culture. First, the biggest aspect of it is culture, who you're surrounding yourself with, whether it's coaches or the other players. When I talked to Coach Brennan, he was awesome, but then also coming down on my visit, I knew a couple of the guys on the team before I came, played a lot of golf with, Matt Thalen, who graduated last year in junior golf, so I knew him coming in, and it just felt like a home when I came down here compared to other places where, it wasn't that much of a home, didn't really enjoy the campus, just everything about OU was, awesome to me.
Yeah, I chatted with Coach yesterday. Well, by the time everyone else sees this, it'll be long gone. But he mentioned that. He mentioned your guys' culture and how close you guys are as a team. What makes you guys so close as a team, and how does that help on the golf course?
Yeah, it helps a lot on the golf course. I mean, we are all best friends. We spend so much time together, whether it's, qualifying rounds, practice, traveling for tournaments, or even, just playing some board games in the living room. I know we did that last night, played some board games, just hung out. I don't know. We're just all, really good friends, and, we, mesh really well with each other. And that just carries itself off the golf course. On the golf course, obviously in qualifying, we're in competitive mindsets and, want to win. But, when we travel to these tournaments, it's 5 of these guys, and we're best friends, and we want to go out there and push each other. But also know that we have belief in everyone on the team. So it translates from off the course onto the course very easily.
Yeah. How would you describe your last 3.5 years here in Athens?
Quick. It went very quick, but yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously started off my freshman year, didn't play much in the fall, but turned around and played a lot in the spring. And that kind of just kicked off into my sophomore year, all the way to now. And, just every opportunity to, go do a qualifying round with some of the guys, or, travel to the tournaments, or even just practice. Created so many memories for myself here at OU, and stuff that I'm never going to forget.
What has golf taught you off the course? Just lessons in life, and what has the game helped you out with, just in life in general?
Yeah, a ton of lessons. I mean, perseverance. You're going to go through rough patches in life, and you can't really shut down when you get through those rough patches. You just have to keep going, and keep working harder, and you have to believe that everything at the end of the day is going to work out for a purpose. So just perseverance, dedication. If you want something, you're gonna have to be willing to work for it. I think that's one of the biggest life lessons that I've learned from golf that I can incorporate into normal life is if you want something, you have to work for it. You're not going to get it given to you.
We mentioned kind of the dual seasons that you guys have to go through. What's the winter like? So what's it like from, when you guys end in October in the fall until now, until you guys are about to get going here in February? But what's your day-to-day? What's the routine like throughout these last few months?
Yeah, absolutely. When we end the season in October, we're kind of forced to take a couple weeks off, per NCAA rules. And then, that's just, a lot of our own work. We really start to work on when we're not, in there as a team scheduled practices, but really just getting in there individually and getting in work. If we only practice the time allotted that NCAA gives us, we're not going to be anything. It's, the work that we put in outside of those hours. So that a lot of that. And then winter break, it's all on our own. So we all go home, and a lot of the guys can go to Florida, play golf, try to get on some grass before the spring season kicks up, and then we come back down here after Christmas break, and then everything takes off. Full practices in the sim, workouts, back to the grind, and then that's for probably about a month until about now. We're leaving tonight to go to Houston for our first tournament, and just been a lot of sim work, workouts, putting work. Just really making sure our games are ready to go. It's going to be, a big adjustment getting back on grass after being on artificial turf all winter. But, we have a great day lined up before we play Sam Houston State tournament at Dallas Nationals. So that'll give us, some time to practice on grass to get, used to chipping on the grass and getting just, ready to, kick it off the right way.
Yeah, Florida sounds nice right about now.
Yeah.
You mean you guys don't go out in the -2 degrees in the snow?
It would be fun a couple times to go out there, but I think it would get a little old.
Yeah, a little old. What are some goals you have this spring, either for yourself or for you guys as a team?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for myself, it's just continuing putting in the work. I put in a lot of work over the summer last year and saw it pay off in the fall, and I think for this spring semester, it's just continuing that. It's not getting complacent. It's just continuing to, put the time in, but also, not putting too much time in. I think there's a good balance when it comes to golf where you can overdo it for sure. So just making sure, you're in the sim, you're practicing, you're working out the right amount of time, not overdoing it, but not doing too little.
Yeah, this is your last semester on campus. Do you know the post-grad plans yet that you can share? We just taking it one day at a time right now?
I do. I accepted a job down in Fort Myers
Nice.
At a technology company called Gartner. So I'll be moving down there middle of August next year to start my professional career.
That's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. Again, sunny Florida is better than these winters. So appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
today.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks to Carson for joining us. Just really nice of him to hop on. And again, the guys started their season this month in Houston. You heard him talking about traveling to Texas. They're back in action Monday, March 9th through the 11th in Southern Pines, North Carolina at the Donald Ross Collegiate Tournament hosted by George Mason. So you can follow along with their season all spring on OhioBobcats.com, and we wish them the best of luck throughout the year. Now we head over to track and field. Ellie Greenwell joins us, a junior on this track and field team, an excellent runner for the track team. She originally came to Athens as a soccer player and has transferred over to run for Coach Peace. So we appreciate Ellie for hopping on, and here she is on Bobcat Tracks. Thanks for joining us, Ellie.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I want to get a picture for those that don't know the track season as a whole and what you guys do from an indoor and an outdoor perspective, what your kind of full year looks like. I don't know if we can start in the summer and what the training looks like then and kind of go through the fall and then what the winter and spring looks like.
Yeah, so we kind of are, especially the distance side, we're year-round competing because we have cross-country in the fall. So over the summer, that is definitely our training block, a lot of building up, and then we'll start workouts around in June, July, and really kind of get some momentum flowing for cross country. And then we'll have a little bit of a down week or two where we're maybe not running every day, just giving the body a little reset after cross country season. And then we'll kind of jump right into the indoor season, and then from there we flow right into outdoor, and we just keep that momentum flowing all the way through. Right after MAC indoor championships, we'll go right into the outdoor season. We'll have a little bit, maybe like a month or so, where we get a good training block where we adjust to the outdoor track, but then we'll start competing again.
So when does cross country season end?
It usually ends like mid-November.
Okay, and what do you normally run for cross country?
Well, it's all like the 6K, so
Okay.
it was my first year running cross country, so
Yeah.
it definitely was like an adjustment for me, but I think that has actually been a huge factor that has helped me in track this season, just having that base of cross country.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I didn't remember you running cross country in the previous couple seasons. How you just kind of mentioned it, but how different was that for you, and how do you think you adjusted to it?
Yeah, it was different. It was hard, but good hard. I think it helped me grow a lot as a person and a runner. Just like the mental aspect of it, it's a lot longer of a race, and it's also on grass, so it's just kind of different. It works on your body differently.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an adjustment, and it was good though. It took me some time, but I think it helped me come into track with a good foundation and good base aerobically, so then I could jump right into maybe focusing on that 800 speed or that mile speed and not have to worry so much about where I'm at aerobically.
Sure. And then you just mentioned it. You run the 800, you run the mile. Is that kind of where you're most comfortable? Is that what you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't had a chance to run a 3K this season, but I would say like the mile is kind of like my sweet spot right now, and then I like to go down a little bit into the 8, and then I also would like to go up into the 3K too, but like right in that area is probably my like sweet spot area.
Yeah, you mentioned those races earlier this season in January. You break the school record in the women's 1,000 meter at Marshall. You were first place in the mile and the 1,000 that weekend. I know it's kind of a cheesy question, but just how good does that feel for you, and how good does it feel to kind of come out on top after all the training you just mentioned?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely feels good, and I think it's more so just like for that, it's like it's awesome to be good in January or have accomplishments in January, but it's like we're working towards the end goal of like MAC. Like it doesn't matter if you're good in January, it like matters if you're good at MAC, which is like end of February, beginning of March. And so I think it just felt like a really good stepping stone to our goal of where we want to be at the end of the season. So, and just building momentum is huge. I think having confidence in yourself is huge. And I think those two early races just help kind of instill some confidence and also just some excitement. Like, I'm ready to go. I want to keep pushing.
Yeah, you're a junior here in Athens. I'll go back a little further than that. Just when did you start running? Was it high school? Was it before high school? When did you kind of get into the sport?
I would kind of run just all the time, more so just for a lot of it was actually for just like soccer fitness. Like I was trying to get fit for soccer, and I kind of used like running as like one way to kind of set myself apart through soccer. And then I decided to run my senior year of high school, and that's when I got into like the mile and 800 and had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so, okay, that might answer my next question. I was going to ask when Ohio got involved, like how the recruiting process was. So it was all basically your senior year of high school then? Yeah,
so it was actually interesting. So I actually came here for soccer.
Okay.
And then after that, Coach Peace had like reached out and was like, do you want to run? And so then from there, I was able to do both for a little bit, and then I really enjoyed the running aspect of things, and I was like, I want to see like what I can do if I'm fully committed into running, and then that kind of transitioned over. So last year was my full indoor and outdoor track season where I was just running and not doing both, and I think my body thanked me for that because I just had a lot more to give into running. And yeah.
When did you, was it at any point during your freshman year here at Ohio, or maybe it was, you said you ran your senior year of high school, when did you realize that you could compete at this level, like in track at the collegiate level?
Yeah, honestly, I think I give a lot of props to like Coach Peace and Drew because when they reached out and they were excited and seeing if I wanted to run, like I feel like they really believed in me and that helped me believe in myself. And I'm like, why not just like see like what I can do, and if this is a possibility, if I can compete at this level, like where could this take me? So I think I give a lot of props to them because I think them believing in me first really helped me kind of believe in myself that I could compete at this level.
Yeah, what does that support system from your coaches do for you, do for the rest of the team? How does that kind of fuel you guys throughout the year?
Yeah, I think like the training plan we have, like we all really trust and we all believe in it, and we know that like coach is setting us up for the most success like through her training, and like if we can commit to her plan like she commits to us, then like we have this mutual understanding that like we can be successful. And I think they're super supportive through that, and if we have goals or things we want to achieve, like they are going to help us get there. And I think having that support is really, really nice and beneficial to us like as athletes.
Yeah, what does that say just honestly just about this university and Athens as a whole? You mentioned you came here as a soccer athlete. I know Aaron and his staff over with soccer are super supportive and want you guys to have the best 4 years that you can here. How do you think that these coaches and these programs have set you up for success?
Yeah, overall, I really just think like they want the best for us as people, like on both ends, like on the soccer side and on the running side. Like I've had nothing but positive experiences with the coaching staff and what they want for us, and I think it's super refreshing to be surrounded by that because it just makes you want to show up each day.
Yeah, we talked about the season as a whole and everything you guys do. It almost feels like there's really no off season, I guess, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of other sports, you play in the fall and then you're kind of building back up to the fall once the season ends. You guys just keep going. You're kind of smiling and chuckling now. Do you enjoy that? Do you like that, or how does your mind and body kind of work with that throughout the year?
Honestly, I think it is hard at times because it is like on your body all year long. You're going, and it can be like exhausting and tiring. But I think there is such like a reward to also like competing all year round because you're constantly like getting after it and you're not losing sight of what you're working for because there's always a championship ahead, and that really helps you like stay motivated, stay driven, and that part of it is really nice. And I think a pro of it because I think sometimes in the off season it can feel like you're just going over and over again, and with this it's like there's no time to like take off the gas. Like you just want to keep getting after it because you can see a championship in year that you're working for.
Yeah, you mentioned that championship. You mentioned Max earlier. It might be pretty self-explanatory, but what are your goals for the rest of the year, and as we build up toward MAC championships here in just a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think my goal for MAC is whatever event I'm running to set myself up like the best I can to make that final, and then trust myself, go with the race, and see where that gets me. And like obviously the goal is to perform at the best and highest level I can. And then for the DMR, if we do that, the relay, that's just something that I think just putting myself out there to help my team in the best way I can and see where that can take us because I think we can do some really exciting things in the DMR.
I was just about to say that. We talked a lot about you individually and kind of your career, but you got a whole team surrounding you, and whether it's the relay or just being around your team and your fellow classmates and teammates. What's the environment like around the track team for those that might not see you guys often? And how fun is it to compete with these girls?
It's a lot of fun, and honestly, just such a supportive group of girls, and everyone really wants the best for each other. And it's kind of like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Like, we're all around each other. We all want to be good. We all want to exceed, but we also all want, like, everyone else around us to succeed. So it's just this constant, like, healthy push at each other just to make each other better. And it makes it easy to show up every day and do that because we're surrounded by, like, such amazing girls.
Awesome. Thanks, Ellie. Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
We wish Ellie and the rest of the track and field team best of luck as their season comes to an end here in February. MAC championships at the end of the month. Again, you can follow along with how they do in MACs, I should say, at the end of February. Again, we wish Ellie and the rest of the team best of luck as they wind down their year. All right, that'll do it for our February edition of Bobcat Tracks. For any ticket information, for any questions, you can head to OhioBobcats.com. The basketball seasons wind down. Ohio wrestling ends their season here shortly. Swim and dive follow their season and the way they do at Max here in a few weeks. You can follow along online at OhioBobcats.com, and we hope to see you out at some home baseball games at the end of the month as well. Again, appreciate Carson and Ellie for joining us, and that'll do it. So long from Athens.